program Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media, Trump's ultimatum and European panic, how 60 Minutes is rewriting the framework for peace for Ukraine. In the latest episode of Olga Skabeeva's 60 Minutes, the topic of Trump's peace plan is presented as an almost inevitable outcome of war, while responsibility for the possible breakdown of the agreement is systematically shifted to Europe and Ukraine. The viewer is presented with a picture in which Washington is allegedly harshly coercing Kyiv into capitulation. Moscow is demonstrating rational restraint and a willingness to make peace, but only on its own terms. Europe is hysterical and sabotaging the negotiations. The Ukrainian elite is behaving hysterically and ruining its own chances for peace. A key propaganda ploy of the program, not discussing the content of the plan itself, but dramatizing the struggle around it, leaks, scandals, ultimatum, allied panic. Washington as the source of the ultimatum, Moscow as the winner. From the very first minutes, the central narrative is established. The US is presenting Ukraine with a new ultimatum. According to the program, Secretary of State Rubio demands that Kyiv first sign the deal with Russia and only then discuss security guarantees. Until the signing, Trump, it is emphasized, refuses to receive Zelensky at the White House. This is presented in conjunction with two theses. One, Russia is winning on the battlefield. Quotes from Western analysts are included. Russia is in a stronger position. It is achieving tactical successes every week, and this success must be accepted. 2. Aid to Ukraine is not endless. The assessments state that the US is not prepared to endlessly supply weapons, and that if peace isn't concluded, Kyiv could face a catastrophic blow to the capital. Thus, the viewer is forced to conclude, if Ukraine doesn't agree to peace now, it not only risks losing US support, but is also to blame for the country's further destruction. Samuel Charap, a senior political scientist at the Rand Corporation, stated that Moscow will under no circumstances sign a plan modified by Kyiv and the Europeans. Instead, he argued, Russia will likely prolong negotiations in various formats and continue the slow war on the battlefield. Putin's consistent tactic with Trump is to never close the door, Charap said. They, Russia, will say yes, but, or this is a good basis for discussion. But we'd like to discuss the details. The Russians believe the deal will be more advantageous in 6 months, so they won't rush. The Witkoff scandal, leak as proof of the plan's goodness. The key plot of the episode is the leaked recording of a phone call between Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Putin aide, Yuri Ushakov, published by Bloomberg and discussed by The Guardian and other media. The program makes several important points. The leak is explained not by concern for Ukraine's security, but by an alleged conspiracy by the Western diplomatic state against Trump's peace efforts. Western experts are quoted as seeing Witkoff's actions as a violation of diplomatic norms, but this is interpreted as the panic of those who don't want peace. The theory is put forward that the leak is primarily the work of British intelligence agencies, and the attack is aimed not at the Kremlin, but at the White House. As a result, the logic is reversed. The more intense the criticism of Witkoff and the Trump plan in Western media, the more convenient it is for Russian television to present it as the only real chance for peace, which hawks in London, Brussels, and Washington are trying to destroy. Moscow as a calm player dragging out negotiations. Through quotes from Lavrov, Ryabkov, and Western analysts, the program constructs an image of Russia as a rational negotiator. Moscow is open to political and diplomatic approaches, considers Trump's initial plan substantive and a good basis, but will not accept any version from which the Kremlin's key demands are excised. Ukraine's withdrawal from NATO, territorial concessions, limitation of the Ukrainian armed forces. At the same time, they cite Western analysts, for example, Rand, who note that Russia may prefer to drag out negotiations and continue its slow advance, waiting for a more favorable deal in 6 months. This subtly legitimizes Moscow's tactics. Military pressure is seen as a tool for improving its negotiating position. Think, analyze, draw conclusions, and don't be fooled. This was the show Empire of Lies.